Dikti sampai tahun 2017 untuk penelitian ozonated coconut oil. Kemudian hasil penelitian ini dihilirisasi oleh PT Averros dengan brand Cocoson Oil. Kegiatan hilirisasi ini merupakan bentuk pengabdian peneliti kepada masyarakat, yaitu industri kecil. Cocoson Oil kemudian mendapatkan hibah TBIC dan aktif mengikuti kegiatan promosi untuk mengenalkan produknya ke masyarakat. Komersialisasi produk Cocoson dipimpin oleh Perkasa Muhammad dari PT Averros. Namun selama perjalanannya terdapat dua permasalahan yang krusial, yaitu bahan baku yang didapatkan atau VCO dari petani berkualitas rendah dan daya jual produk Cocoson Oil pun rendah. Kemudian didapatkan solusi untuk pemurnian VCO dan diversifikasi produk menjadi hand cream dan sabun transparan. Namun, solusi tersebut dibutuhkan pendampingan, pelatihan, dan pengujian produk agar permasalahan yang ada tidak terulang kembali dan produk Cocoson Oil lebih variatif dan disukai oleh masyarakat Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Fuad Iskandar Zulkarnain Fahrudin. Alhamdulillah, saya saat ini dipercaya untuk memperoleh amanah sebagai Direktur Pengembangan Usaha PT Bukit Asam. Saya adalah alumni Teknik Industri dari IT Angkatan 84.
Sebelum menjabat sebagai Director of Business Development di PT Bukit Asam pada tahun 2017, Fuad Fahrudin pernah menempati posisi sebagai Head of Business Development PT MRT Jakarta, Director Corporate Services PT Indosat Mega Media, Group Head Corporate Communications PT Indosat Uridu, Managing Director atau CEO Indosat Singapore Pte Ltd, dan Director ASEAN Cable Ship Pte Ltd. Dapat bertahan dan berkembang selama 27 tahun di highly competitive industry tidaklah mudah. Namun hal itu dapat dicapai oleh Fuad Fahrudin. Dan berikut tipsnya.
Yang pertama, jujur, menjaga nama baik, bekerja extra mile karena bekerja adalah ibadah, dan kita harus hands on, tahu detail atas pekerjaan kita. Dan yang paling utama adalah membuat sesuatu terjadi. Ada beberapa definisi tentang apa sih seorang manajer, apa sih seorang leader. Buat saya, definisi yang paling saya favorit adalah he or she who make things happen. Seseorang yang membuat sesuatu terjadi. Dan karena bekerja adalah ibadah, kita lillahi ta'ala, kita harus berbuat yang terbaik.
Program pengabdian pada masyarakat merupakan penerapan dari hasil penelitian yang telah dilakukan sejak 2017, yaitu pemanfaatan serat ukuran mikro atau MFC dari limbah industri sawit serta pemanfaatan limbah plastik multilayer merupakan hasil kajian yang sampai saat ini menjadi permasalahan lingkungan dan telah dimanfaatkan oleh kelompok peneliti teknik sipil, teknik kimia, dan manajemen. Produk hasil kajian tersebut dituangkan dalam bentuk pengabdian pada masyarakat di wilayah Keranggan, Tangerang Selatan. Selain pengabdian pada masyarakat, dipublikasikan juga jurnal-jurnal dan dilakukan kerjasama dengan Pusat Penelitian Kimia BRIN dan PT MPA untuk pengolahan limbah sawit berupa bahan baku serat yang dapat diolah menjadi berbagai macam produk. Selain limbah sawit, Indonesia juga sedang dihadapkan dengan permasalahan limbah plastik. Pemerintah Indonesia berkomitmen untuk mengurangi limbah plastik yang ada di laut sebesar 70% pada tahun 2025. PT Chandra Asri Petrochemical berkomitmen untuk mengolah limbah plastik bersama masyarakat Cilegon melalui IPST binaannya. Saat ini produk yang dihasilkan berupa bahan bakar dan aspal. Namun, Edi Rifai, Vice President Corporate Relation and Sustainability di PT Chandra Asri Petrochemical dalam acara peresmian IPST Asari menyampaikan bahwa akan membina masyarakat untuk memproduksi paving dari limbah plastik. Tim pengusul akan bekerja sama dengan mitra diantaranya Nanotech Indonesia Global sebagai penyedia alat produksi paving dan PT Chandra Asri yang akan menjadi mitra pendamping di IPST Asari dan melibatkan mahasiswa dalam program MBKM. Untuk keberlanjutan program ini, PT Chandra Asri Petrochemical akan terus membina dan mengembangkan IPST menjadi lebih baik dengan tujuan Zero Waste Circular Economy bagi masyarakat Cilegon. Dan kegiatan ini akan dipublikasikan di media agar menginspirasi periset dan masyarakat umum, serta dilakukan pembuatan draft artikel ilmiah dan survei kepuasan mitra.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Fuad Iskandar Zulkarnain Fahrudin. Alhamdulillah, saya saat ini dipercaya untuk memperoleh amanah sebagai Direktur Pengembangan Usaha PT Bukit Asam. Saya adalah alumni Teknik Industri dari IT Angkatan 84.
Sebelum menjabat sebagai Director of Business Development di PT Bukit Asam pada tahun 2017, Fuad Fahrudin pernah menempati posisi sebagai Head of Business Development PT MRT Jakarta, Director Corporate Services PT Indosat Mega Media, Group Head Corporate Communications PT Indosat Uridu, Managing Director atau CEO Indosat Singapore Pte Ltd, dan Director ASEAN Cable Ship Pte Ltd. Dapat bertahan dan berkembang selama 27 tahun di highly competitive industry tidaklah mudah. Namun hal itu dapat dicapai oleh Fuad Fahrudin. Dan berikut tipsnya.
Yang pertama, jujur, menjaga nama baik, bekerja extra mile karena bekerja adalah ibadah, dan kita harus hands on, tahu detail atas pekerjaan kita. Dan yang paling utama adalah membuat sesuatu terjadi. Ada beberapa definisi tentang apa sih seorang manajer, apa sih seorang leader. Buat saya, definisi yang paling saya favorit adalah he or she who make things happen. Seseorang yang membuat sesuatu terjadi. Dan karena bekerja adalah ibadah, kita lillahi ta'ala, kita harus berbuat yang terbaik.
Kebijakan MBKM yang diinisiasi oleh Mendikbudristek menawarkan berbagai program yang menguntungkan baik bagi mahasiswa, institusi maupun mitra. Institut Teknologi Indonesia turut aktif berpartisipasi dalam program MBKM sejak 2020, tak terkecuali program studi teknik kimia. Untuk itu, program studi teknik kimia IT bekerja sama dengan mitra baik industri, lembaga penelitian maupun universitas untuk mendukung program MBKM. Bentuk kerjasama dengan mitra berupa pendidikan, penelitian, pengabdian kepada masyarakat, dan pengembangan inovasi dengan mitra industri seperti PT Enerba Teknologi, PT Sinar Multikemindo, PT Mitra Mandiri Saktitama, PT Sentrum Sarana Industri, PT Nanotek Indonesia Global, PT Sukses Mantap Sejahtera, lembaga-lembaga penelitian, dan universitas seperti Universitas Indonesia dan Universitas Gadjah Mada. Program MBKM Teknik Kimia IT diantaranya magang bersertifikat bagi mahasiswa dan dosen, praktisi mengajar, dan pertukaran mahasiswa merdeka. Saat ini jumlah mahasiswa yang magang sebanyak 16 orang yang tersebar di industri, lembaga penelitian, dan kewirausahaan. Untuk meningkatkan kompetensi dosen dalam proses mengajar, dosen teknik kimia IT melaksanakan magang di industri, lembaga penelitian, dan universitas. Selain meningkatkan kompetensi, dosen yang magang berperan sebagai problem solver di tempat magang, sehingga mitra dapat menyelesaikan permasalahan di lapangan dan mahasiswa dapat mempelajari permasalahan tersebut melalui dosen. Sebagai wujud kepedulian mitra terhadap teknik kimia IT, sebanyak 7 praktisi dari mitra melaksanakan kegiatan praktisi mengajar kepada mahasiswa. Dalam program ini, mahasiswa juga dipersilakan untuk belajar di kampus lain, dan kampus IT juga menerima mahasiswa dari kampus lain. Untuk mendukung kegiatan MBKM, Teknik Kimia IT melakukan workshop kurikulum. Dalam workshop ini, mitra memberikan masukan agar kompetensi lulusan sesuai dengan kebutuhan industri. Selain itu, untuk menumbuhkan jiwa entrepreneur, dilakukan kompetisi bisnis mahasiswa bekerja sama dengan inkubasi bisnis IT. Pengalaman adalah guru terbaik. Alumni diundang untuk sharing pengalaman dengan mahasiswa teknik kimia untuk memotivasi agar mereka lebih giat belajar dan semangat menggapai mimpi. Program Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka sangat berdampak baik bagi teknik kimia IT dari segi kompetensi mahasiswa dan dosen, peluang kerjasama dalam bidang pendidikan maupun penelitian, peluang bekerja di tempat mitra, dan perbaikan kurikulum untuk menciptakan lulusan yang lebih baik lagi. Teknik kimia IT akan terus berpartisipasi dan meningkatkan kuantitas dan kualitas program MBKM yang dijalankan. Pada akhirnya, melalui implementasi program MBKM, diharapkan pembelajaran kolaboratif dengan berbagai mitra ini dapat meningkatkan kompetensi lulusan teknik kimia IT. Jutaan potensi sumber daya alam Indonesia mendukung lulusan teknik kimia untuk membantu menopang perekonomian nasional dengan cara mengolah bahan baku menjadi berbagai produk. Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia dan Yayasan Pengembangan Teknologi Indonesia mendirikan Institut Teknologi Indonesia pada tahun 1984. Program studi teknik kimia menjadi salah satu jurusan yang berdiri sejak tahun 1984. Dengan visi menjadi pusat pendidikan berbasis technopreneurship. Dan misi mendidik dan melatih mahasiswa yang menguasai analisis dan sintesis proses, berjiwa wirausaha, dinamis, bermoral, dan memiliki etika profesi. Dengan tujuan untuk menghasilkan lulusan dan penelitian yang berkualitas, dapat menyelesaikan permasalahan masyarakat dan industri, serta mengabdikan diri kepada masyarakat dengan teknologi yang tepat guna, dan menjadi pusat pendidikan teknik kimia yang menerapkan good university governance. Pada tahun 2015, IT telah mendeklarasikan 8 nilai dasar IT memimpin, yaitu integritas, tanggung jawab, intelektualitas, menghormati, kegigihan, motivasi diri, peduli, dan kebangsaan Indonesia. Nilai-nilai dasar ini diharapkan menjadi dasar dari karakter IT ke depan sehingga dapat berkembang secara mantap dan konsisten dengan mengedepankan sifat, sikap, dan perilaku yang terbaik. Program studi teknik kimia
Good morning. Welcome to the first International Conference on Advanced Technology in Chemical Engineering, ICATCE. Today, Wednesday, 7th of September 2022. This conference is organized by Institut Teknologi Indonesia, or ITI, in collaboration with Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, Universitas Pamulang, and Universitas Bayangkara. This conference is supported by Ministry of Education, Culture, and Research and Technology in program Kompetisi Kampus Merdeka or PKKM and sponsored by PT Pilar Reka Cipta, PT Pilar Gas Industri, PT Pilar Ardi Industri, Pilar Beton, and PT Pilar Bikara Ayu. The Honorable Rector of Institut Teknologi Indonesia, Dr. Insinyur Marzan Aziz Iskandar, IPU. Vice Rectors, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Dwita Swastianti, MSI, IPM, IPM, SNN, and Dr. Insinyur Sidik Marsudi, MSI, IPM. His Excellencies, the invited speakers for the conference, Professor Osamu Niwa from Saitama Institute of Technology, Japan, Professor Dr. Hiro Jan Harris from University of Groningen, Netherlands, Dr. Huai Chuan Ong from National Yunlin University of Science and Technology, Taiwan, Dr. Wan Azmin bin Wan Hamzah from University Malaysia, Pahang, Malaysia, Dr. Muhammad Khalid MSCM from University of Indonesia. His Excellency, Head of Chemical Engineering Study Program, Institut Teknologi Indonesia, Dr. Insinyur Wahyudin ST MSc, all Head of Units and Head of Study Programs, Institut Teknologi Indonesia, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Garizi Matini, and it is an honor for me to host you in this special occasion on the first International Conference on Advanced Technology in Chemical Engineering, ICATCE 2022. With our theme is Advanced Material and Sustainable Engineering. Before we continue our conference, let me announce you to our agenda. We will start with performing the Indonesian national anthem and continued with welcoming speeches and opening remarks, going on with the plenary session with the invited speakers, which will be held in two sessions, morning session and the afternoon session. Next is the parallel session, and we will close our agenda with the closing remarks from the chair of the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will proceed to the first agenda with listening to the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. And for that, allow us to mute your Zoom voice. Also, ladies and gentlemen here, with due respect, please stand up while we are listening to the anthem.
Bersama
sit down. Thank you. Moving on to the next agenda, we will hear the welcoming speeches, and it will be started from speeches from the head of Chemical Engineering Study Program of ITI to Dr. Insinyur Wahyudin, STMSC. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning everyone. Yang saya hormati Bapak Rektor and ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Chemical Engineering Department, Institut Teknologi Indonesia, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and welcome you all to the first international conference on advanced technology in chemical engineering 2022. Moreover, I honorably welcome our keynote and invited speakers, Professor Osamu Niwa from Saitama Institute of Technology, Japan, Professor Huai Chuan Ong from National Yunlin University of Science and Technology, Taiwan, Dr. Muhammad Khalid, Associate Professor from Universitas Indonesia, Professor Wan Azmi bin Wan Hamzah from University Malaysia, Pahang, Professor Heroyan Hires from Rijks Universiteit Groningen, the Netherlands. The first international conference on advanced technology in chemical engineering 2022 was held as a part of the activities by the Independent Campus Competition Program, or Chemical Engineering Study Program, Teknologi Indonesia. PKKM is the program for improving the quality, the relevance, and innovations of higher education to respond and to anticipate future development in science and technology in accordance with the excellence of study programs and enhance cooperations with business and industrial world, and also top world-class universities in the context of transforming higher educations to gain international recognitions and increase the nation competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that this international seminar would be able to achieve its objective in providing an effective forum for advancing knowledge, research, and technology for humanity. We also hope that this international seminar can be held annually as a meeting place for academicians, researchers, and also practitioners. Therefore, the focal drive of this conference is to exchange ideas, and by participating in this exchange, it is hoped that all parties who may benefit from the conference can apply it in managing activities in their areas. It is pleasing to note that the agenda of this conference covers a wide range of interesting topics related to all theoretical and practical aspects, but not limited to inorganic chemical technology, kinetics and catalytic engineering, environmental engineering, material science and technology, organic chemical technology, renewable energy, chemical engineering, thermodynamics, and also membrane technology. Last but not least, my deepest gratitude goes to the advisory board, organizing committee, institutions, the sponsor companies, the volunteers who have directly and indirectly supported the success of the seminar. The committee has organized a vibrant scientific program and is working hard to present highly respected and internationally notorious speakers to lead it. Although we try our finest to be professional, on behalf of Chemical Engineering Department, Institut Teknologi Indonesia, please accept our sincere apologies should there be inconveniences that occur before, during, or after this event. I wish you a very productive conference with exciting and encouraging discussions and exchange of knowledge so that together we can anticipate a future of groundbreaking knowledge, research, and technology for humanities. May God bless us all with good health and spirit to make this event a successful and enjoyable for everyone. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Dr. Insinyur Wahyudin STMC for the speech. The second remark will be delivered by Professor Dr. Insinyur Julianingsih MT as the chair of ICATCE conference. To Professor Dr. Insinyur Julianingsih MT, the screen and time is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today at this wonderful occasion. As the chair of this conference, it is an honor for me to speak on behalf of this organization. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to the first international conference of Advanced Technology and Chemical Engineering 2022. I would like to express my appreciation to the Kemendikbudristek, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, through program Kompetisi Kampus Merdeka, who generously helped us make this conference come true. Special thanks for Mr. Aktisa, who support this conference. I would like to also express my gratitude to Department of Chemical Engineering Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, Department of Chemical Engineering Universitas Pamulang, Department of Chemical Engineering Universitas Bayangkara, who sincerely committed to this effort to make it a success. Thank you to all the invited speakers who have allocated the time to share knowledge and experiences in this conference. I also appreciate to all paper presenters in participating in the parallel session. The main topic for this conference is Advanced Material and Sustainable Engineering. Through this conference, I hope we can share ideas and increase our student knowledge about recent technology and chemical engineering. I would like to say once more on behalf of this conference organizer, welcome. It is a great to see you here. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Julianingsih, for your remarks. Before Excellencies, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, in this fine occasion, I would like to invite Rector of Indonesia, Institut Teknologi of Indonesia, Dr. Insinyur Marzan Aziz Iskandar, IPU, to deliver his remarks and officially open the conference. Without further ado, Well, please welcome Dr. Insinyur Marzan Aziz Iskandar, IPU. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Good morning, everybody. The honorable invited speakers, Vice Chancellor of ET, here Dr. Engineering Siddiq Marsudi, and also maybe attending online, Professor Drita Swastianti. Head of Research and Community Service Center of ET, Professor Yulianingsi. Head of Chemical Engineering Study Program, Dr. Wahyudin. Lecturers of Institut Teknologi of Indonesia. Representative of Directorate General of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us offer praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the one Almighty God, because by His grace and guidance, we have been given strength and health so that we can gather at the first international conference of advanced technology and chemical engineering, or ICATCE. On this opportunity, I would like to express my warm welcome and gratitude to all participants who have attended the conference online as well as offline. As Chancellor of ET, I strongly support various efforts to build synergy in developing the competence and quality of ET, our campus human resources, and of the Indonesia people in general. This is in accordance with the vision, missions, and role of ET as one of the leading technical university in Indonesia, which was founded in 1984 by Professor Dr. Engineering B.J. Habibie, third President of the Republic of Indonesia and former Minister of Research and Technology, namely as a technology-based entrepreneur university, to answer the challenge of national and global development. Our campus, ET, is very concerned with developing technology and increasing human resource capabilities as the foundation in spurring the development and utilization of natural resources to support the acceleration of national development. The first international conference on advanced technology and chemical engineering, or ICATCE, is hosted by Chemical Engineering Study Program, ET, with financial support from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology through the Campus Merdeka Competition Program, or PKKM. Through this international conference, participants can find out about the development of science and technology, especially research in the field of chemical engineering with the theme Advanced Materials and Sustainable Engineering. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, present online and offline at this event, invited speakers from various countries who would convey the status and results of their research. Namely, the first is Professor Osamu Niwa from Saitama Institute of Technology, Japan, who will discuss the topic entitled Metal Nanoparticles Modified Carbon Film Electrodes for Electrocatalytic Oxidation of Sugars and Alcohols. Followed by Professor Wai Chuan Ong, who attended offline here. Thank you very much, Prof. From National Yunlin University of Science and Technology, Taiwan, who will deliver the topic, the production of microalgae biocare and its byproduct using thermochemical conversion. The third one, Dr. Muhammad Khalid from University of Indonesia, with the topic roles of polymer engineering in material sustainability. Followed by Professor Hero Jan Heers from University of Groningen, Netherlands, with the topic Fast Pyrolysis, a promising technology for renewable carbon conversion. And last but not least, Professor Wan Azmi bin Wan Hamzah from University Malaysia Pahang, Malaysia, who will deliver the topic, the development of advanced technology in nanofluids and international research collaboration opportunity. Discussion of the above topics will be followed by presentations and parallel discussion session by 16 speakers from Institut Teknologi Indonesia, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, Universitas Pamulang, and
Recording in progress.
Bayangkara. I'm sure that through this conference with competent speakers, participants will get useful and inspiring new information and knowledge in their respective fields of work and profession. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this international conference was held with the support from and cooperation of various parties. For that, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the invited speakers, Professor Zamu Niwa, Professor Huai Chuan Ong, Dr. Muhammad Khalid, Professor Hero Yan Harris, Professor Wan Azmi bin Wan Hamzah. I also thank the Directorate General of Higher Education, Research and Technology, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology for the financial support through Campus Merdeka Competition Program, or PKKM. And I also express my gratitude and appreciation to university colleagues for their contribution in organizing this international conference, namely Department of Electrical Engineering, Muhammadiyah Jakarta University, Department of Chemical Engineering, Pamulang University, Department of Chemical Engineering, Bayangkara University. And also thanks the sponsors, PT Pilar Reka Cipta Industri, PT Pilar Ardi Industri, PT Pilar Gas Industri, PT Pilar Dikara Ayu, and PT Pilar Beton. Finally, I would like to thank the organizing committee and all the participants for attending this conference. These distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude this short speech with the hope that this conference can be useful for all of us. With this, I would like officially open this international conference of Chemical Engineering Institut Teknologi Indonesia. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Insinyur Marzan Aziz Iskandar IPU, for your remarks. Before going to the main agenda today, it will be good to do a photo session to save our togetherness today. I would like to invite all the participants in Zoom meeting to join, and please turn on your camera, sir, ma'am, who joined via Zoom, because we will have a spotlight photo screen capture online and offline. And I would like also invite all of the head of units Institut Teknologi Indonesia, the chairs of ICATCE, to go on the stage, and also all the lecturers of Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, Universitas Bayangkara, and also Universitas Pamulang to go on the stage together with the boards of Institut Teknologi Indonesia to have a photo session together with the online Zoom participant. Please, Pak Rector, Vice Rector, Head of Units of ITI, lecturers of Universitas Bayangkara, delegates, lecturers of Pamulang University, and also Muhammadiyah Jakarta. So, on my remark, everyone, I also invite all the participants in Zoom to turn on the camera Okay. Please smile. Hold on, please smile because it takes a time to take a photo together, online and offline. Okay. Please hold on. Okay. Again, please hold on. Okay. Seven. Okay, on my remark, everyone. Okay. Okay. On my remark, take one. On my remark, take two. Okay. Take three. Take slide 4. 5. Okay, slide 6. And the last one, slide 7. Okay. Thank you very much for all the boards of ITI and also lecturers from our collaboration organizers. Thank you, and you may go back to your seats. Now, we have arrived to the pinnacle of our program, the plenary session. This plenary session is divided into 2 sessions, the morning session and the afternoon session. The morning plenary session will invite Professor Osamu Niwa from Saitama Institut of Technology, Japan, Dr. Wai Chuan Ong from National Yulin University of Science and Technology, Taiwan, and Dr. Muhammad Khalid SSE MSc from University of Indonesia as the main speakers. And I will also invite Mr. Satrio Kunto Laksono PhD to lead this session. Mr. Satrio Kunto Laksono PhD is a lecturer in a chemical engineering study program in ITI. He is a PhD graduate in life science and green chemistry from Saitama Institut of Technology, Japan. One of his recent research publication is titled Bibliometric Analysis of Global Research Trends on Electrochemical Nitrate Sensing using Scopus database during 2022. Therefore, he will be perfect to lead the seminar, and we expect an interesting discussion during the session. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I call Mr. Satrio Kunto Laksono, the stage, the screen, and the time is yours.
This. Yeah. Good morning for everybody. And how are you? Yeah, I hope you are doing well and stay healthy. And I'm so happy today. And we are delighted to organize the first international conference in 2022. And okay, for the morning session, we have 3 invited speakers, and such as Japan, Taiwan, and also Indonesia. And due to the Japan is not attended here, and for the professor from the Taiwan will take to the first invited speaker. So for the professor Taiwan, he is in these states and he attended in the Indonesia for the conference. So big applause to Professor Huai Chuang and Ong. I will introduce the biography of the Huai Chuang Ong. He was finished the PhD in engineering, University of Area, 2020. And also from the 2021 until now, he got the professor in National University of Science and Technology, Taiwan. And also from the 2021 until now, he got the adjunct professor from the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. And Professor Ong, so many research interests, as you can see in the monitor, especially energy system, isn't it? And then the second one is energy and fuel, green technology, environmental sustainability, and waste management, so on. And also Professor Ong, so many awarded from the 2017, like Malaysia Research Star Award, Height Site Researchers on the 2021, and also Australia Top 40 Yearly Career Research. It's so amazing, Prof. And today, Professor Ong will introduce or sharing the knowledge or sharing the experience in the research with the topic of the production of microalgae, biochar, and its byproduct using thermochemical conversion. Are you okay? Are you ready? Okay. So presentation time 25 minutes, followed by 10 minutes for the discussion, audience, and also virtual audience. So big applause to Prof. Ong to share their knowledge. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the hello. Yeah, thank you for your kind introductions. So a very good morning to all of you, especially for the rector and right rectors. First of all, thank you for inviting me for this conference. So I'm very great to be here. So as I mentioned, this is the 3rd time in Indonesia. The thing that I like the most in Indonesia is the food, of course, and also the people. The people here is kind. So without any further ado, my slide is here. I can see. Yep. Oh, this one backward. This one is forward. Oh, this is later.
This was forward, and then this one backward.
Oh, this one forward. Okay, this one is okay. Yep. Without any further ado, I would like to share my which is about of microalgae biochar by using the thermochemical conversions. As our current world, we are moving toward sustainability and also the net zero emissions. So it's very important for us to move forward to the green productions and utilizing the biomass waste turn into some useful products. So this is about the topic today. So before forward. Which one? Okay. Yep. Yeah, before I start my topic, I want you see this figure, the energy and water. This is very two important resources, and these two important resources is limiting each other, and the demand of these two sources is increasing year by year by increasing the populations and also increasing by our living style. But we need the water in order to produce the energy, because in the cooling tower or whatever that we need water. At the same time, we need the energy in order to produce the clean water for our daily life. However, these two resources are limiting each and other. So how are we going to use these two resources carefully? Then how to maintain our living style and to maintain our resources. So this is the topic that we need to think carefully, so to utilize the resources. Okay. So as I mentioned before, the energy and the water are two very important resources. The demand of energy is increasing year by year. According to the BP statistics, the total fossil fuels demand is increased to 13,000 million tons of equivalent in year 2017. Now it's believed it's more than 15,000 million tons of oil equivalent. The fossil sources, which is from the oil, coal, and natural gas, is account more than 85% of our total energy demand. And these resources will produce very harmful emissions such as the CO2, CO2, and our naturals only able to absorb half of the total emissions. So the other emission will produce to the greenhouse gas, which will harmful to our environment. So that's why we need to find the sustainability energies in order to reduce the total emission, at the same time to have the sustainability of our energies. The solutions for the energy and also the greenhouse gas, by the engineering point of view, there are two solutions. First is by increasing the energy efficiency. So this is a very direct method, which, for example, I give an example for our lighting system. Previously, we are using the fluorescent light. The light intensity is very low. However, we can easily, by improving the energy efficiency, by changing to the fluorescent light, the total emissions can be reduced by reducing the energy demand while maintaining the light intensity, maintaining our living style. But currently, the world is moving toward to the LED light. The total energy input required is reduced further. However, the light intensity is increased, and our living standard will still can maintain. Same with other sectors. For example, if we able to increase 1% of our power plant, so the total energy demand can be reduced by 1%. At the same time, the emission can be reduced 1% while we still can using our current system. So this is the most direct way we can reduce the energy demand. But second method is by switching to the renewable energy, such as the solar energy. In Malaysia, Indonesia, we are in the equator. We have a lot of the sunlight. We can utilize and harvest this sunlight and turn it into some useful energy. At the same time, both these two countries also is the agricultural country. We can utilize our biomass waste. In Malaysia and Indonesia, we total account more than 85% of the oil palm industry. Correct or not? Then this oil palm industry will collect very huge amount of the biomass waste. If we are able to turn this biomass waste to some useful energy or some useful product, is another way for our sustainability lifestyle. At the same time, we have various other type of the renewable energy, such as the hydro, wind, geothermal energy, and as well as the ocean energies. Today, the topic I want to focus here is the biomass or biofuel energy. So biofuel is become one of the significant solutions for the oil shortage, global warming, as well as the air pollution. The biofuel energy is derived from the organic materials such as from the plant, from the vegetable oil, from the animal waste, or any various type of waste or biomass energy. So it is possible to convert into the energy and fuel. So currently, the biomass or biofuel energy is already become one of the renewable sources together with the solar or wind. So today, the focus research I want to discuss is about the biomass energy from the microalgae using the thermal conversion method. So the biomass waste can be various types of waste I mentioned before that available from the local. Example, the microalgae or the jatapa oil, oil palm waste, or the spent coffee ground waste. Through the thermal conversion method, like for example, the pyrolysis or gasification, we can choose those waste into the biomass. For example, the biochar. The biochar can be one of the solid fuel. At the same time, biochar can become one of the sources of the biofertilizer as well. At the same time, the biochar can be one of the bioabsorbent. So through this green conversion, we can reduce the biomass weight significantly. At the same time, we can turn into some useful product that can be used as a fuel or biofertilizer. So with this green method, we are able to reduce the waste and produce the useful. This is killing two birds with one stone. So today, I've focused the biomass about the microalgae, which initially the microalgae biomass waste have very low carbon content and low energy content, as well as the calorific value is very low, which is not suitable to be used directly. So we need to do some conversions in order to convert this biomass waste into some biochar. At the same time, the biomass waste have very high moisture content, which require the high energy input. If we convert directly the biomass waste or microalgae biomass waste into some biochar, it requires very high energy input, which we need the drying process. Today, I'm going to introduce you the technology which is called the wet torrefaction process, which require relative low energy input. Yeah, which is the torrefaction process. Torrefaction process is one of the process that we can call it the mild pyrolysis. The pyrolysis is happen during the 500 degrees C, while the torrefaction it can be happen around 300 to 200 to 300 degrees C, and the reaction time is relatively low, which around 15 minutes to 1 hour. At the same time, the dry torrefaction process able to enhance the calorific value and also the energy content. At the same time, it can reduce the moisture. Then the biochar or the solid product is our main product. At the same time, we have the wet torrefaction, or it's called the hydrothermal torrefaction. Normally, for the hydrothermal torrefaction, we use the water or any liquid solution as the medium. So in this, the reactions happen during 150 to 250 degrees, which is much more lower if compared to the typical pyrolysis process. So most importantly, the wet torrefaction can be happen when the biomass in the wet condition. We no need to dry it first. Now without the drying process, because the drying process is very energy consuming. So this is our research objective. First, we need to see the dry torrefaction process as a comparison. Then after that, we follow by the wet torrefaction, see to compare what is the difference between the dry torrefaction and also the wet torrefaction, whether we can get a similar product or similar characteristic or not. And at the same time, for the wet torrefactions, the liquid product will be produced as a byproduct. The liquid hydrolysis process will be produced. This one, the liquid hydrolysis process can be converted into the bioethanol if we degrade it by using the acids. We will compare three types of acids. As you mentioned here, first, we are using the dry torrefaction. We are using the normal reactor, the tube furnace reactor. with the nitrogen gas. Then at the same time, we are correct the bio oil. So the reaction happen around 200 to 250 degrees C for holding time, which is 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 45 minutes. While for the vector refraction, so this is the technology that we developed for the vector refraction. We are using microalgae assisted, which the energy required is much more reduced because this process we are using the microwaves for the heating process that happen in the reactor. Then after that, we are correct the solid product as well as the liquid hydrolysis product. For the solid product, we are analyze the most importantly is the HHV. If the HHV is relatively high, we can use as the solid fuel. Then while for the liquid hydrolysis process, we can further convert it into the bioethanol. So from this process, it can produce two products from wet biomass. So in this study, I just use the microalgae as the samples to make the comparison. With this technology, we can use any type of the biomass without drying. So today from this study, we are using two types of microalgae. First is the microalgae with the rich in the carbohydrate, which is the Chlorella ESP31, while another species is the Chlorella ESPE, which is rich in the protein content. Because why? Because currently the people culture the microalgae to extract the protein. But after extracting the protein, the biomass, what you're going to do for the biomass? So we can conduct into the another type of the products. So we are using these two species as comparisons. So the first result outcome using the dry torrefaction, what we can get. We are using the oil jatoba seed and also the microalgae, which can be obtained through the torrefaction process. The energy yields obtained around 97%, with the HHV improvement about 19% at 200 degrees C. While the HHV for the microalgae ESP31 is increased up to 45%, and also the energy yield is 80%. While another type of the microalgae, which protein-rich microalgae, the torrefaction process has less impact. Because why? Because for the ESP, the carbohydrate is much more easy to degrade. So that's why the HHV can be increased. While the impact of the torrefaction to the ESP and also the jatoba is less significant. So the detailed information can get from our paper there. While we are using the vector refractions, the total solid yield, can be up to 30%, more than 30%. While if we are using the three type of the acids as the medium, so the total solid yield will be decreased. Why the solid yield will decrease? Because these three type of the acid will enhance the degradations of the carbohydrate. While for the ESP, the total yield is slightly higher. Why is slightly higher? Because the protein, the high solid protein, most of the protein still remain because the protein unable to degrade by using the acid hydrochlorics. So this one about the HHV improvement. As you can see here, if we compare to the dry torrefaction, the enhancement of the 44% of the calorific value can be achieved by only 160 degrees at 10 minutes when we are using the microwave assisted vector refraction. It can have the similar product while the total reaction time can be reduced significantly, as well as the total reaction time can be reduced significantly. This proven that the vector refractions by using the microwave assist able to degrade the product significantly. At the same time, For the ESP, it still remain the same. The HHP improvement is just around the 10%. That means this method is not really significant to the ESP product. So this is the small conclusion that I can make, which the weight toleration at 160 degrees for 0.05 more of the sulfuric acid successfully produced the biochar, which is similar HHP enhancement by the dry conversion at 30 degrees C. So at the same time, when we are using the wet toleration, the ash content, which will be decreased significantly as well. So while another study, we also see what is we correct the liquid product, which is this one, liquid product. We correcting the liquid products. Okay, we correcting the liquid product. The total reducing sugar is increasing while the total acid concentration is increased. Similarly, for the high protein microalgae, the total reducing sugar is much more lower compared to the Chlorella ESP31, which is carbohydrate rich microalgae. Okay, what I want to show you is, you see, this is the total reducing sugar. With this total reducing sugar, we are able to convert into the bioethanol. While 5-HM will be produced as a byproduct during the hydrolysis process by using the acid hydrolysis. What happened to the 5-HM? The 5-HM is very useful chemical compound in the chemistry industry, while in the bioethanol production will become the toxic to the yeast, which will degrade the bioethanol production. So that's why when we increase the acid, when we increase the acid concentration, the total production of the 5-HM will be increased. Then the productions of the ethanol contents will be reduced significantly if the 5-HM, the amount of the 5-HM is more than the acceptable range for the bioethanol productions. So that's why you can see here the total bioethanol production is close to the zero, even though the reducing sugar produced at this condition is the highest. Because why? At the same time, the 5-HM is the highest at this condition. The yeast is already at the maximum condition that can be accepted by this process. So that's why you can see here the total bioethanol production is relatively very low and these conditions. So when we want to produce the bioethanol, we need to bear in mind to separate. So our suggestion is separate the 5-HM before we go to the bioethanol productions. So this is for the optimum conditions for the bioethanol production is using the sulfuric acid at 0.2 mol for 10 minutes. If more than 10 minutes or higher temperature, the 5-HM amount will be increased, which will reduce the bioethanol, affect the bioethanol productions. So this is the discussion for the study number 3, which the highest total reducing sugar is 0.2 mol, which obtained around 37%, the ethanol 7%. Although this one I mentioned, the 5-HM could be the toxic for the fermentation process, which is the bioethanol production process. However, if we extract this 5-HM, it can be useful as the additive in the biofuel conversion or the polymer and other process. So we need to consider to extract or separate or recover the 5-HM before the bioethanol productions. So this is the conclusion of this study. So the world now is moving toward to the renewable energy and toward to net zero emission. So the biomass waste is one from the tropical regions like the Malaysia or Indonesia are the very potential resources for the bioenergy. So it's important to develop a sustainable green technology solution that can convert these all biomass waste or agricultural waste into some useful energy or other type of the value-added products. So I think that's all for my sharing today. So thank you for your attention. So any questions?
Thank you very much, Prof. Ong.
Yep.
Let's stop. Okay. For the discussion, it's okay, Prof?
Yep.
Okay, we'll
Sure.
start for the discussion time. 9 minutes. And virtual Zoom. Make some question or
Yeah, you can ask any questions. Yep, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Ong, for your nice presentation. I have two questions. The first, when you make a production of biochar,
Well, Sean,
you add nitrogen or hydrogen, I forget.
nitrogen. Yep.
The first question is, what is the important you add nitrogen first?
Okay.
Another question, the second question.
Okay, yeah.
The second question, on discussion 3 about bioethanol production, there is biomass Chlorella vulgaris. At that time, at that biomass, you can find high concentration of carbohydrate. But when you make production of biofuel, bioethanol, at temperature 170, the how to say, the concentration reduced very drastically. So
Okay.
please
Yep.
explain further. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Thank you for your questions. So for the first question, during the process, we are using the nitrogen gas. During process, we are using the nitrogen. The main purpose is to what? Is to reduce the oxygen content during the process so that the combustion will not happen. I mean, we can still store the energy inside. And I mean, during the process, during the pyrolysis or the traction process. So that's why we can use the nitrogen gas or other type of gas. So why we use the nitrogen gas? Because firstly, the nitrogen gas is available with a very low cost, abundant the nitrogen gas, then at very low cost. Secondly, the nitrogen have no any reaction, cannot happen any reaction during the process. At even though at the 500 degrees C, if we don't have any reaction process or combustion process, so that's why we are choosing the nitrogen. The main purpose why is to reduce the oxygen content so that the combustion will not happen, to remain the energy content inside the compound. So this is why we're using the nitrogen. So for the second question is about the why even though the total reducing sugar is at the optimum, but the bioethanol production is nearly zero. Yep, that one because as I mentioned before, the byproduct during the hydrolysis process is the 5-HM. The 5-HM is very useful in the chemical industry. But
I'm sorry, Prof. Could you tell me
the slide,
what number of the slide?
the slide, go
Did
back.
you remember?
I cannot remember. Maybe
Okay,
slide
previous.
30, slide 30, or you just go back. Yeah, just go back. Just go back. This one.
This one. Okay.
This one. At this point, the reducing sugar is highest and optimum. Then it should explain the total bioethanol should be the highest, right? Not by logic. However, during the conversion process, wait a minute. Next
This
slide.
one?
Next slide.
Next slide, please.
Next slide. And this one. During the production process, the 5HM is the highest as well. This 5HM is the toxic intoxicant for the bioethanol process. So that's why it causes the yeast in function. So that's why the reducing sugar unable to convert into the bioethanol. So that's why the bioethanol content is nearly zero. So if the 5HM is reach the level that can be tolerant by the yeast during the bioethanol conversion process, the yeast will in functions. I mean, it's toxic. It's toxic for the yeast. Yep.
Toxic inhibitor.
Yep. That's why it can explain that the total ethanol concentration is nearly zero at this few point. Yep.
Okay. Is that enough, Dr. Siddiq? Okay. And we have one question from the room chat. It's come from the Abu Amal. In order the countries want to implement policies to utilize biomass, are there any effort from your research that show the ease of using biomass energy? Ease of using biomass energy.
So what is his questions?
Okay, I will repeat again. In order the countries want to implement policies to utilize biomass, are there any effort from your research that show the ease of using biomass energy?
Reply the policy to utilize. Are there any effort? Okay.
Any effort?
Yep. Of course, because now the world is moving toward to the net zero emission. That means what? Net zero emission. I mean, we want to utilize the resources, the limited resources that we have. And second thing, during our industrialization, a lot of the biomass waste will be produced. Of course, many countries, including Malaysia and Indonesia, are moving toward to the net zero emission. So this type of research, our research, which is to converting the biomass waste, which we converting the waste, we can utilize the waste so into some useful energy or some useful product. So the government of Malaysia or government of the Indonesia is very supporting of this type of project, including for the developed country like the Australia, Taiwan, and European. They already implement this waste to energy since 10 years ago, but in our country, like for example, for South Asia, we just starting now recently. So we are relatively late. So that's why we need to do more research about the converting this waste or this agricultural waste or various type of waste into some useful product. Or because why? First thing, no matter you like it or not, the waste is there. We need to do the treatment for our wastewater or biomass waste. In order to treat this biomass waste, we need a median loader as well. Why not? We just utilize this waste, convert into some useful product. It can kill two birds with one stone. First, solve the waste problem. Second thing, moving toward the net zero. The third thing, we can utilizing this waste to convert into some useful product. At least we can convert this one into the biofertilizer, which can be used back in our agriculture industry. Used back by the locally. We no need to import this biomass waste or whatever, or no need to install the very sophisticated treatment process or whatever. But we burn it or we convert it into some green way or green by utilizing this green technology. Yep. Hope I answered that questions.
Okay. How about the Dr. Abu Amal? Is that okay? Or do you want to continue another question? Or maybe some one discussion again?
That's enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And for the time is already 29:43, and let's give the big applause to Professor Ong.
Yep. Okay, yeah, thank you. If you have any question, you can drop me an email or anything. Yep. Thank you for your inviting me to here. I really enjoy it. Thank you.
And Prof. Ong, we have a certificate, or no, a certificate, but the real certificate, because of you attended in this conference, and from the committee, like appreciation for you to share the knowledge and share your research in this event. Okay. Yeah, once again, thank you very much, Prof. Ong, to share the research and your knowledge, and we are happy to listen your research, and hopefully for the future we can make a collaboration between us and you in the next or in the few years later. And then the next invited speaker. It was come from the Japan. Hello, Prof. Osamu Niwa.
Yes. Okay.
Niwa Sensei.
Hi. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe that. Can you see that?
No, Prof. Wait.
Okay.
Before I enter the presentation, I will introduce your curriculum vitae to share and to know about who is the Professor Niwa. Wait moment. Oh my God. Thank you very much for the admin. Okay, I will introduce the biography of Professor Osamu Niwa. This one. Professor Niwa was finished the PhD in engineering from the Kyushu University of Japan, and start from the 24 to 29. He is a group leader in the National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, Tsukuba, Japan. And from the 2015 until now, he is a professor in the Saitama Institute of Technology in Japan, in my alma mater. And then start from the 2020, he is a vice president of the Saitama Institute of Technology. And Prof. Okay, next please. Next. Professor Niwa also have several awards like Japan Analytical Chemistry Society Award, GSPS Award for Distinguished Reviewer, and also another reviewer. And for the field of research, he very amazing in the electrochemical biosensor, surface plasmon resonance based of biosensor, and also analytical sensor. And please make a big applause to Professor Niwa. And time in your presentation time, 25 minutes and 10 minutes for the discussion and asking. Okay, Prof.
Okay. Can I share the slide? It's okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you for the. Thank you very much for the nice introduction, Professor Storio. And I'm from Japan. My major is the electrochemistry and using nanomaterials. So today I'll talk about the metal nanoparticle modified carbon electrodes or electrocatalytic oxidation of sugars and alcohols. And also I will introduce some analytical applications to detect the environmental pollutant. Is okay? Right. This is the outline of my talk. First, that I will talk about the background and purpose, and then I will introduce the electrode for chemical sensors. Finally, the third topic is modification of nickel and palladium heterodimer. It is a combined nanoparticles on the carbon films for electrocatalytic applications. So as you know, the electrochemical device has been used for many fields. For example, for medical application, blood glucose sensors, or nowadays wearable sensors to continuous monitoring of biological molecules. The other application is the sensors. One is a gas sensor to detect very toxic gas, which is used in industry. The other application is environmental monitoring, such as the toxic heavy metal ion detections. Other application is a kind of energy device, such as fuel cell and batteries. Lithium-ion batteries particularly famous, and this is a very traditional old lead battery for cars. Around here, so around these applications, metal nanoparticles has been used. So there are the many publications, the books introduced about the fundamentals and the applications of the metal nanoparticles. One application is fluorescence imaging using semiconductor nanoparticles. And full color nanoparticles can image the cells and the biological molecules. The other application is the drug delivery to deliver the drugs into the human body. The third application is the catalyst. As shown here, this is the gold nanoparticle for catalytic of the two for organic synthesis or something like that. About the electrochemical application of nanoparticle, most well-known example is the fuel cell, right? As shown here, the platinum nanoparticles modified on carbon materials has been used for fuel cells, now used even fuel cell vehicles. And this is the Toyota Mirai, which is operated by fuel cell energy. Then our group has been used the metal nanoparticle fabrication by using sputtering method, as shown here. So if we have the carbons and also the metal pellets by co-sputtering, then we have the metal nanoparticles embedded in carbon matrix. So this work was first reported by my colleagues and Hirono and Umemura in Nature, the very old time, because they want to apply for the magnetic nanoparticles. It's a different applications. But I'm very interested in this work, and then we used electrocatalytic metals instead of cobalt to prepare the electrode materials, such as the platinum, gold, palladium, and the nickel, copper, and so on. So if we use the platinum and palladium, we have the very fine, maybe few nanometers, nanoparticles, and dispersed in the carbon materials. If we use for the electrochemical measurement, in case of just platinum bulk electrode shows a very unstable baseline as shown here. However, if we use this nanoparticle embedded electrode, so you can see that the baseline is very flat and the nanoparticle is very stable. And we can make this film one-step deposition and at low temperature. Nowadays, we we improve the equipment from this type to 3-target system because we can control the power of each target separately. Therefore, we can change the content of the film very widely compared with this type. So each target is shown here. And then this is actually equipment. This is a pre-chamber. This is sputtering chamber. And we use the silicon wafer from here to here, then sputter. The inside is like that. This is, as I said, and one-step deposition with low temperature. So we can use even polymer film, such as polycarbonate, Teflon, and polyethylene terephthalate, and so on. Until now, we fabricate 3 types of carbon film electrode. One is the pure carbon, as shown here. It's a pretty old work and flat surface and a very wide potential window and low falling. The next, we terminate the surface with other molecules, other atoms, such as fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen. And then we can control the surface wettability and the electrocatalytic activity by introduce other atoms. The final application, now we are studying with metal nanoparticles embedded carbon films. It shows high electrocatalytic activity with high stability. So with this film, we apply for the particular, mainly biosensors, such as the DNAs or DNA methylation analysis and enzyme-based biosensors. This type of the electrode we apply to the detection of the vitamins, very good for the health in food using fluorinated carbon film, and also the nitrogen doped carbon film was applied for the electrocatalytic applications. Today, I talk about this type of electrode. And one is the detection of heavy metal ion, which is very toxic. We need to control the concentration in the environment very carefully. The other is the sugar markers for diagnosis. So now I will switch to the topic of the chemical sensors, as shown here. And about metal nanoparticles electrode, we fabricate 3 types. One is the monometallic nanoparticle in carbon matrix. The other, it was obtained by co-sputtering of metal and carbon. Then various metals can be available. And this has a flat surface, but the few nanometers metal nanoparticles are dispersed in this film. And this is the nanoalloy, which is the alloy of nanoparticles, consisting of 2 metals. For example, nickel, copper, we can control the concentration of each metals and also density of metals in the carbon films. Nowadays, we also fabricated this type of heterodimer, which is consist of 2 metals. And in this case, we selectively deposited the metals only onto the nanoparticle, not on carbon. Therefore, we can obtain this kind of heterodimer nanoparticles. Then we apply to many analysis and also electrocatalytic devices. So today, first I will introduce the detection of heavy metal ions. So as you know, the intake of arsenic ion is very toxic. So therefore, the WHO regulated strictly about the arsenic ion concentration in drinking water, very low level. So in arsenic concentration about the 20 or 100 times higher than regulated concentration in many countries. We use the detection of arsenic using gold nanoparticle embedded electrode. So usually this kind of metal ion has been detected by AAS, atomic absorption spectrometry, and ICP mass. But this equipment is large and very expensive. In contrast, electrochemical method is very inexpensive and very simple, like this. Therefore, we developed electrochemical measurement of toxic metal ions using our electrode. So this is fabrication, just a sputtering of gold and carbons. Then we have obtained this type of, so red, pink color is gold nanoparticle, and black area is the carbon. Then we can obtain this structures. The part of the metal is appeared on the surface, which was used for electrochemical measurement of arsenic ions. Then this is the response of the arsenic ion from 0 to 100 ppb. When the concentration increase, the sensitivity, the current of this peak is also increasing. And we have the very good relationship is R is 0.99. Also, the metal was embedded in the carbon. Therefore, this electrode is very stable by continuous measurement, as shown here. However, if we just deposit nanoparticle on the surface of the carbon, during measurement, the sensitivity goes down because this is just a physical adsorption, so the nanoparticle is easy to detach. But instead, our electrode is partially embedded. Therefore, the stability is very nice, as shown here. We also compare with official measurement, ICP mass. And then we have the very good correlationship between the electrochemical measurement and official measurement. Also, we apply this method for the selenide detection, which is also the sometimes toxic, because if we intake the beneficial intake, it's okay. However, if we intake the inadequate intake of selenide, there has some disease and increase the cancer risk and so on. However, the problem to detect selenide is concentration of the selenide onto the gold surface is very slow. Therefore, we enlarge the nanoparticle by plating on the surface. So we selectively deposited the gold on the surface of the small nanoparticles, as shown here, to increase the concentration of metal ions on the surface. So if we plated the gold on the carbon, the plating started here. However, if we have the nanoparticle, the plating starts here. Therefore, if we choose the potential between here and here, around this red arrow range, we can selectively deposit the gold only on the surface of the gold. So you can see this is a comparison. This is just pure carbon. This is a gold nanoparticle embedded electrode. So as shown here, you can see that the very fine nanoparticle was grows on the surface compared with on pure carbon film. So because the embedded nanoparticle works as a gross core of the plated metals. Therefore, we can obtain very fine nanoparticle with high density as if we compare two types. Then we apply for the detection of the selenide ion. As you can see, the gold bulk electrode also shows a good sensitivity. However, due to the weak electron activity, therefore the peak is very fluctuated, as shown here. However, if we use this type of electrode, the sensitivity is equivalent to bulk electrode, and the stability is very nice compared with just nanoparticles. Then next topic is the clinical application of metal nanoalloys. So as shown here, this shows the instant permeability indicators. This is to diagnosis of instant disease. For example, if the instant is very normal, and we take small and large sugars, only small sugars was permeated through the instant membrane, like here. However, if the instant was damaged, even large sugars was permeated. So therefore, if we measure the each sugar concentration in the urine, we can detect the condition of instinct. So to detect the sugars, electrocatalytic oxidation of sugars by using gold, nickel, and copper nanoparticle, gold and nickel and copper electrode is very well known. As shown here, the surface has the hydroxy group, then electrochemically oxidized to form superoxide. Then this structure oxidizes gold, as shown here, then return to this hydroxide. And if this cycle is very fast, we can efficiently oxidize glucose. Then we fabricated the nanoalloy to increase the sensitivity. So like this, by changing the concentration, by changing the ratio of the nickel and the copper. This is a TEM imaging of the nanoparticles. So shown here that this is the copper image, is the nickel image, and this is mixed image. So you can see the nanoparticle was in nanoparticles, and the copper and nickel was well mixed, as shown here. And when we check the sensitivity of five sugars, you can see in the bulk and the bulk nickel and bulk copper is a very low sensitive. However, also copper and nickel nanoparticle, the monolithic nanoparticle is pretty good, but still not enough sensitivity. However, we make nanoalloy consisting of nickel and copper, which shows the much improved sensitivity as shown here. Also, if we compare the metal, just metal alloy, compared with our nanoalloy embedded in the carbon, and this is a continuous measurement of these sugars, you can see that this structure is very stable compared with just metal alloy. So the third topic is this is my final topic, the heterodimer fabrication and apply for the sugar and alcohol oxidation. So we also selectively deposit the different metals on the surface of embedded metal. So like this, metal ion was deposited only on the embedded nanoparticle due to the lower overpotential. This means on the metal nanoparticles, the other metal can be easily deposited compared with pure carbon surface. And then we apply to electrocatalytic oxidation of the alcohols and sugars, glucose. Now this is a photograph, and the surface was hydroxide, and the palladium inside. Then we tested this method is universal or not by using different metals. So many combinations. For example, nickel palladium and nickel gold and platinum gold and platinum palladium and so on. In any case, we can see there is a difference of the overpotential between metal surface and carbon, at least 80 millivolt to 370 millivolt. Therefore, if we selected this potential region, we can selectively deposit the other metal onto the metal particles, then to make a heterodimers. And so this is a comparison of the same images as shown here. When they use pure carbons, the nanoparticle size is large and very fluctuated. However, if we use the metal nanoparticle embedded electrode, we have the finer structure of the second metal nanoparticle deposition. So this nickel particles compared with nickel nanoparticle only on pure carbon. So this is the image by Hardy's STEM EDS. This is the atomic image. So you can see this is the palladium in the inside and the nickel is outside and make a nanoparticle as shown here. And also surface was different, and this is the hydroxide of nickel. Then we check whether this structure is really bind to the palladium or just attached. So by applying the ultrasonification, if we deposit the nickel on the surface of carbon after ultrasonification, most of the nanoparticles removed because this is physically adsorbed on the surface. However, if we apply ultrasonification of this structure, after ultrasonification, there is almost no change. Therefore, in this case, the metal and the inside metal and the outside metal nanoparticles are attached by metal bond. Therefore, much more stable compared with just a plated metal nanoparticle. Also, we can easily control the density of nanoparticles by changing the metals inside the carbon film. So if the density is low, we have the very low concentration of heterodimer. However, if we embedded the nanoparticle very densely, as you can see that the heterodimer was formed very densely, like this. Then we compare the electrocatalytic reactions. First, we check the rate of this redox reaction to make the superoxide structure. Then, by increase the scan rate. When the scan rate is low, there is almost no change, no difference between the heterodimer and nickel nanoparticle. However, if we increase the scan rate from 1, 12, and 20, and 500, you can see the heterodimer still shows a very nice redox reaction. However, the nickel nanoparticle, the peak is very low. This indicates that this reaction is very fast in case of heterodimers. So we also apply to oxidize the glucose here by using heterodimer compared with the nanoparticles. You can see the start potential of oxidation of sugars is shifted at lower potential, lower energy side compared with the nanoparticles. And also, in this case, the physically mechanically very weak. Usually people modify the surface with water permeable polymer such as naphthalene. But if we coat naphthalene, the activity goes down. In contrast, in case of heterodimer, we cannot use this polymer because this is very mechanically stable. Therefore, we can maintain very high efficiency of sugar oxidation. Also, we apply for detecting oxidized methanols at very high concentration of few moles. So when the increased concentration, this shows still higher current. However, in case of nickel nanoparticle, the sensitivity is saturated. Therefore, we can apply to oxidize the higher concentration metal using these heterodimer structures. So finally, I will show this is summary of my talk. We show the 3 topics. One is the toxic metal ion detection in the environment and tap water, and the other is the nickel copper nanoalloy for sugar biomarkers for instant disease detection. The final topic is the vertically oriented nickel palladium heterodimer in the carbon films, and show the improved catalytic activity for glucose and metanols. And finally, I will introduce our institute. And so Satorio-san graduated this institute, and this is our building. This is the main building, and our place is about the 80 kilometers, about 1.5 hours from downtown Tokyo and around here in Saitama Prefecture. So there is a little rural area. We have the very beautiful cherry blossoms in March. And if you have a chance to come to Japan, please visit us. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. Nima. And let's move to the discussion and question are asking from the audience. Question, raise hand or please write on the chat room. Okay. From me, I have one question, Prof.
Yes.
Beside of the nickel slicer CU, is there any option to the deposition or not? Like maybe a platinum or nickel to palladium or something else?
Okay, you ask me about the variation of nickel metals.
So could you repeat again?
Okay, you ask me about the variation. So which different metals can be used?
About the variation.
Okay.
Carbon fiber.
We try to use many kind of metals such as the gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and so on in the carbon film. So therefore, we can choose the wide variety of metals and also metal combinations with our method.
So it's mean that can be the other element or other particle to combine.
Combination. So metal combinations. So in the third topic of these heterodimers structures, so we showed the 6 combinations of metals in my slide. However, we also tried the other metals such as silver or some others, so we can make other combination of 2 metals.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Prof.
Okay.
Any other question from here or from the virtual conference? Prof, in this location, the rector of our institute attended in here and graduate from the Japan, from the Tokai University, and also from the vice rector also graduate from the Japan. And maybe let's introduce to the rector and the vice rector to say 1 or 2 sentences, like a greeting or something else. Okay, please.
Good morning or good afternoon, Professor Samuniwa. Very nice to meet you at my conference. My name is Marzan Aziz Iskandar. I'm rector of Institut Teknologi Indonesia.
Yes.
And I graduated from Tokai University, Japan.
Yeah. I know.
My major was electrical engineering.
Yes. Okay.
It's very nice to hear your presentation, and on behalf of our lecturers, students, and attendants from Indonesia, we would like to thank you and really appreciate for your presentation for us today. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for the kind invitation. Thank you.
Yeah, on the left side is also for graduate from Japan. Okay, maybe Dr. Siddiq, like one sentence or greeting from you.
Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Prof. Osamuniwa.
Thank you.
Konnichiwa.
Yes.
I'm Siddiq Marsudi, Vice Rector Indonesia Institut Teknologi Institut Teknologi Indonesia.
Yeah.
Actually, I also graduate from Japan, from Tokyo Institute of Technology or Tokodai in Tokyo.
Tokodai, yeah. Okayama.
I am Okayama and Nagatsuta campus.
Nagatsuta campus. Oh, okay.
Two campus, kayak campus. My major is bioplastic production from microorganism, especially from bacteria.
Yes.
So we also appreciate for your presentation, and hopefully we can send a student to your university or
thank you very much.
student also can come to our university for make a good collaboration. And we'll also appreciate for your student that have already become a lecturer in our university,
Yeah.
Dr. Satrio Kuntolaksono,
Yeah.
our lecturer now. Thank
Yeah.
you for your time and also for your attend this conference as a resources. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sidik, and thank you very much, Prof. Niwa.
Yes.
I have one question from the room chat to you, Prof. From Abu Amar, Dr. Abu Amar. He want to know about, in your summary, an interesting statement, nickel and also copper nanoalloy embed carbon fuel significantly improve sensitivity for sugar biomarkers for intense time disease diagnosis.
Yes.
Would you like to explain us about that? Is that possible or that possible for typhus disease?
Deep disease? What's it? I couldn't catch in the final part. Okay. I couldn't catch the question, the final part.
The question is, would you like to explain us about that? Is that possible for typhus disease for nickel copper nanoalloy embed carbon fuel?
Okay, depth image, you know.
It can be detected to the typhus disease, the nickel and copper. As I remember that you presented about the what I say biosense sorry, presentation. That's it. The health of problem is that Prof? The health problem like a glucose or something like. Yeah, and then is that possible to detect the typhus disease using the nickel and copper? Did you catch the question or?
I did the question in the chat. Yeah, because I did not know the name of disease. So so that's why I don't know whether we can apply or not, because the typhus disease, I don't know what kind of disease. So sorry.
From the Abu Amar asking about the typhus.
Yeah, typhus disease. What is typhus? I don't know this disease name. Okay.
Okay.
Typhus. Typhus. I understand. Okay. Okay, I think that this is the kind of infection disease. So in this case, there are other early diagnosis method. In my case, this is a kind of the stress or some other mental problem, and then the condition of instinct become bad. In this case, it is we can check using our method. However, in case of typhus disease, is a very quick and infected disease. In this case, it is a much earlier, much faster to check the DNAs of germ of virus or some other bacteria. Okay, so maybe different method is more.
How about Dr. Abu Amar? Is that okay, or maybe it's more clear? If possible, from you to asking to Professor Niwa.
It is okay. That is the typhus disease, Prof. That is a disease because infection from bacteria Salmonella. It means, is that possible to check the typhus disease in intestine? I mean,
I think that the condition of instinct can be checked. However, in case of typhus disease, it is much faster to check the germs existing of this なんだろう、なんでかな。So, compare with our method, it is much faster to check with other method to check the DNA of the virus or some bacteria. Compare with our method because this is the infection disease.
Yeah.
Although we can check, but it is faster to check the existence of germs, or for example, salmonella. So that's why it is more realistic to check this kind of.
This is more faster than conventional method. I mean, because normally it's 1 week or maybe 2 days because with wider test, for example.
Yeah. So in this case, it is much faster to use directly check germs.
Okay. Thank you very much, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay, Dr. Abu Aman?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. And any other question from here? Maybe Dr. Amanda or Dr. Ratnawati or Dr. Wahyudin? And who will asking? Firstly, Dr. Amanda. Let's say to introduce our colleagues. She is a Dr. Amanda. Will you asking about something or maybe in nanotechnology, nanomaterial? It's about the nanoparticle and nano modified of nanomaterial or nanotechnology. Okay, please. Okay, Prof. And okay, I will introduce once again. Professor Julian Ningsi is also was graduate or have experience in Japan, and he has exchange student during the PhD around 6 months, isn't it, Prof? Okay, so maybe it's like make greetings to Professor Niwa, like a remember to Japan, please.
Thank you very much from Prof. Niwa.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Student in Japan, study about biodiesel production in the non-catalytic process with Professor Sagara Sensei. Sagara and Napitani Sensei in Tsukuba. And National Food Research Institute.
I see. Yeah. My home is near here, near this institute. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so in front of the states and on the last from the committee of the conference, give to the certificate, virtual certificate to Professor Niwa, because the committee said to thank you to you especially to share and make
I can see
other experience. And so the virtual conference, could you share?
Nice, very nice, thank you.
This is for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Please make a big applause to Professor Niwa.
Thank you very much.
Prof, for the virtual conference, we will send to the email.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward.
Thank you very much for your time, and greeting to Professor Matsura from me.
Yeah. Now he's very busy to operate other conference. So Matsura Sensei is now very busy, I guess. Okay.
Okay, Prof. So let's move to the another invited speaker. Is there Dr. Harit in the Zoom? Not yet. So, okay, let's break and take a tea or take a small snack to make a wash time around 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Or maybe from the Prof. Ong, just make a sing song. Huh? If you want to try, yeah, let's go, Prof. Let's go. And Prof Ong, as you know, Prof Ong has have been in Indonesia 3 times. This event is 3 times before. One time is from business trip to Bogor, especially IPB. Isn't it, Prof? Okay, and then second one is visiting to ITS, 10 November, Surabaya. And the next one is the time in Indonesia. And what do you feel about in Indonesia?
Yep, as I mentioned, I like the food here. The food here, very style of food. I can enjoy very different food. Yep, so I like the food here. The people here are so kind and so nice. Yep, and I also, because I mentioned I have a lot of the Indonesian students back when I was in Malaysia. Yep, so yeah, so I mean, in this coming semester, there are some, I think two Indonesian students where we go to Taiwan to study as well. One is one is my former student from University of Malaya, and then now he continue the PhD here there as well. Yep.
And you mentioned about the favorite food in Indonesia. Could you tell me about what kind of food? Like maybe nasi goreng or sate or what else maybe? Nasi padang, yeah.
Nasi padang is very nice. The melda. One tau nasi padang.
Nasi padang. Okay. Why you choose the nasi padang as your favorite food? You like a spicy food?
Yeah, spicy food. Yep.
Seriously? Yep. Oh my God. Good. And maybe Miss Galisi want to ask in some one question or another.
Yeah, perhaps I would like to give announcement to all audiences here that we will have a coffee break for about 5 minutes before we move to another. Okay, sorry. We will have another session that is Dr. Muhammad Khalid, MSJN. Dr. Muhammad Khalid is ready now, actually, but participants who are here, you can have the coffee break behind you. If you want to eat something or you want to drink something that you can fulfill your stomach while waiting for Dr. Muhammad Khalid ready to have the session. One more time, all the audiences, you are free to have the coffee and also tea or the foods, beverages behind you. That is behind you if you want to have it during while we are waiting for Pak Muhammad Khalid to have the third session. Okay, I think that is my announcement. Pak Satrio, you may continue with the last session in this morning's plenary session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Garizi. And the last in the morning session will be presented from Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Khalid. I will introduce to you. Could you? Okay. Dr. Muhammad Khalid was finished in PhD in chemical engineering from University Groningen, Netherlands, and also from the master specialization in polymer engineering from University of Delft, also from the Netherlands. And working experience, currently he is an associate professor on the Department of Metallurgical and Material Engineering, University of Indonesia. And 2019 until now, he is a vice chairman of National Working Group for Research and Development Innovation and Technology. And also another reviewer in the Polymer Composite Society of Plastic Engineer, John Wille and Sons, USA. And the next, Dr. Muhammad Khalid also has several research interests. Okay. The first one is matrix-based composite materials, polymer with reinforcement variation of bulletproof helmet. The second one is integrated studies for plastic-based asphalt. And the last one is awareness building for plastic waste management in UI as a model. And also Dr. Muhammad Khalid have several awards. Of course, in Indonesia Innovation to fight COVID-19, the innovation product to fight COVID-19, and the best third lecture in the University of Indonesia. And Dr. Khalid, the presentation time around 25 minutes and discussion around 10 minutes. Time in yours, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for introducing myself. And then, based on the agenda, I would like to present some materials regarding with the role of the polymer engineering in material sustainability. And then this is about the outline, what I would give in this meeting. The first one is, of course, regarding with introduction, and the second one until etc. And then I will close with the conclusion. And then for introduction, I would like to give some highlight items, points regarding with the materials, the polymers, and the plastic. As we know that in the world, we have some classification of materials. There are three classifications. There are type of polymer, and there are type of materials, what we call as the metal, ceramic, and polymers. And then based on the smallest entity, the material types are the metal is atom, and then the polymer is ceramic, and polymer is molecule. And then for if we compare with the ceramic and the polymers, of course the polymer is very, very big molecules. And therefore, we have some very interesting issue regarding on the polymers. And then, as we know that the polymer products, sometimes people add with the additive for making what we call as plastic. And then therefore, there are a lot of application in our life. As we know that as comparison between metal, ceramic, and the polymers, as we know that referring also the smallest entity for each them. And then as we know that the polymer, it has very, very low density, and therefore it's very, very light. And then it's very important regarding with the transportation of the materials of the product from the production site to the market, of course. And therefore the people consider it, and therefore the polymer, what we call as after adding with the additive, what we call as plastic, is very, very wide application in the products. And also the polymer, is the ability for modification is very, very wide, because what, for example, polypropylene can be divided, can be modified into rigid and flexible product. It depends on the additive what we combine with it. And also the about the manufacturing, of course. For manufacturing, as for example, if we want to something like a discontinuous product, and then we can a lot of option, such as whether we can use injection molding, compression molding, etc., etc. Referring the number 1, number 2, and to number 3, of course, there will have consequences regarding with the production costs. And therefore, if we have very, very low production costs, and then we can have the price of the product will be very, very low. And therefore, the people very, very like the polymer application in their life. And therefore, the application of the polymer can be in the automotive field, electronic, construction, and etc. And then something very, very interesting is the application of the polymer is the packaging. As we know that basically every product needs what we call as package, and therefore the material for fulfill the requirement for packaging is the polymers, yeah, in general. And then the other one, of course, because the application of polymer in this case, especially plastic, is very close with the human needs, and therefore the people must be need the polymers of the plastic in this case, and therefore the parameters for this need, yeah, what we call as plastic consumption. As we know, Indonesia is not so big regarding with the statistic data. As we know, if we compare with the neighbor country like the Malaysia, yeah, Indonesia is more or less, not so big if we compare with the Malaysia, and therefore, yeah, we should consider about the application, especially development of material of polymer in our life. Yeah. But the problem, yeah, maybe we can have some discussion regarding on that, why we have a lot of waste, yeah, of the plastic in our life. I think, as we know that every materials, yeah, basically every material has the typical energy, and then the energy must be, will have this cycle, and therefore the material polymer also have life cycle. As we know that the raw material of polymers is what we call as monomers, and then monomers will be polymerized by upstream and by upstream industry. Yeah, they will polymerize it, and then we can have the polymers. And then after that, yeah, the polymers, yeah, produced by the upstream industry will add with some the additive, and therefore we can have variation of the grade of the polymers, and therefore the industry making on that, concerning on that, what we call as converting industry or intermediate industry, and therefore from them it will be sold to the what we call as manufacturing industry. The people mention as downstream industry. And then they will convert, yeah, from plastic raw material into the end product. Yeah, after that, yeah, the people use it, and then we can have some what we call as waste, yeah, of the plastic. Basically, waste is very useful, especially for making the monomers, the polymers itself, or we can reuse, yeah, or we can remanufacturing anymore. And in that, in the word, yeah, the raw material of the polymers, yeah, referring to the monomers, of course, and then the monomers, the biggest sources monomers in our life is referred to the petroleum, and therefore petroleum crisis also leads to empowerment of the alternative source, yeah, such a biomass, what we discussed in this meeting. And then, as we know that the polymers can be divided into two, natural one and synthetic. As we know that for natural, yeah, the polymerization process, yeah, is undergo in the photosynthesize, something like that, yeah. And then if the synthesize, the people take it as monomer and then polymerize it, and therefore we can have synthetic polymers. And then based on the monomer source, we can divide it into two in general. And the first one is referring to petroleum, what we call as the polymer, the petropolymers. And then we have sources of the monomers referring to the other one, something like the plant, something like the algae or biomass, we call as biopolymers. And then, yeah, it's about the rule of the polymer products development, especially in the polymer engineering, yeah, for material sustainability. As we know that the product can be used, can be marketable, yeah, we should consider some variables. The first one is about raw material itself. And of course, we must use the best of raw material for making the best product properties. And the other one also, we should consider about the product design, because if we have, let's say, have a very, very good raw materials, but unfortunately the product design is not good, the people tend to not considering to buy it. And then after that, the number 3 is about the manufacturing. The polymer is very, very unique because the properties of product, of course, we can manipulate by the manufacturing method. And then the last one, what the people very consider, especially for environmental people, we must consider about the environment, because as we know that explosion of population, lead to increasing exponentially human needs, and therefore we can have some competition, and therefore it will disturb what we call as equilibrium of the ecosystem, and therefore environment consideration is very important for making product quality. And then therefore there are some opportunity for us as engineering, especially chemical engineering, to modify or to manipulate or something like that, using some technology for having raw materials. As we know that we mentioned before, we have and in the world have the crisis regarding it with the petroleum resources, and therefore we should have some alternative for making raw material from the other source. The other source can be referred to a lot of things, and the first one, we can use the biomass. Why? Because the biomass is the material having very, very abundant availability in our life. And therefore, it's very interesting for explore these sources for answer this challenge. And then if we have the polymers, basically the polymers can be divided into 2 based on the previous explanation. The first one is from the fossil base or petroleum one, and the last one and the second one is biomass. And then as people mention, sometimes people have something like it's not suitable for the some term, and therefore I would like to give some some remark regarding on that. Not all petropolymers, it will be biodegradable, or biodegradable, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. It doesn't depends on the resources, on the polymers, The next one is what we call as biomass. Biomass is very, very interesting sources, especially for making some materials, such as the polymer. And then what we call, what is the biomass? Biomass is mass of living organism, in a given, it can be aquatic or terrestrial ecosystem. From these sources, we can have a lot of things. It can refer to the animals, terrestrial plant, or even in aquatic plants like algae. And then based on this slide, we can have lot of things, exploration, the potency for the derivative material from biomass, such as the starch and cellulose, etc., etc. And then we can have derivative product from them. And then the prospect of the biomass-based polymer in the future is very, very interesting. And therefore there are some scenario for developing of biopolymers. Unfortunately, the biopolymers based on the biomass, have some the weakness, such as the brittle, the mechanical not so good, and then not easy for the process, hydrophilic, and of course expensive due to the relatively a new technology. And therefore we should have some combination, some modification through the chemical engineering or chemical technology or material technology. And then therefore we can have a lot of things, for example, modification of surface for having compatibility between hydrophilic properties with the non-hydrophilic. Yeah. Later I will give some presentation on that. The fiber reinforcement, as we know that the fiber, natural fiber, is very, very abundant in our life, and therefore it's very interesting sources. Until now, in general, the people use the fiber based on the petroleum, such as glass fiber. And then it's very interesting if we can convert or we can substitute, yeah, the fiberglass into the natural fiber, but unfortunately not easy. Yeah, the technology needs to deliver it. Yeah, for having some requirement properties. And then also, yeah, the biomass material also can be used for the filler, and the people also use it and as a composite. Based on the graphic on the right side, we can have a lot of things. Yeah, the prospect of the biomass in our life. And then I would like to give some the modification of the biomass materials. Yeah, for example, in this case, I would like to give some presentation about the levulinic acid, yeah, based material. As we know that the levulinic acid is one of the part, yeah, in the biomass, and therefore we can extract it from the natural resources, of course, like plant, and then we can have levulinic acid, and then we hydrogenize it, and then we can have gamma ferrolactone, and gamma ferrolactone we can open, yeah, the ring, and then finally we can have a lot of derivative compounds on them. Yeah, for example, like this, yeah, we have, let's say, 4, yeah, derivative compounds on that, and then, yeah, because the derivative compounds, they have at least two active functional group, and then we can polymerize it, and finally we can have a lot of derivative bio-based polymer from the levulinic acid. Yeah. And then from biomass to new polymer products, yeah. And of course, each product, yeah, each polymer, it must have the typical properties, and then the typical properties we can mix it for the what application we want to go. And then also the levulinic acid, yeah, it is the detail on that, yeah. At the first, the levulinic acid will be hydrogenized, yeah, using some method. For example, in this case, I would like to present about the basic hydrogenation. It means there are 2 solvent we use in this case, water and BCM, dichloromethane. And then, as we know that the catalyst will be dissolved in aqueous layer, yeah, and then the substrate, levulinic acid, will dissolve in the BCM. And then during the reaction, of course, there we must agitate them and then give some hydrogen as a hydrogenation agent. And then finally, after that, we can have some, the kinetic of course, yeah. We can use it as in situ using NMR. And then finally, we can have the graph of NMR we can look at in the right side. And then after that, yeah, as we know that after reaction, of course, yeah, the catalyst, yeah, ruthenium TPPS will be dissolved and still stay dissolved in the aqueous, and therefore, yeah, we can have the catalyst system anymore, and then we can use it anymore. Yeah, and then also we should consider about the activation of the catalyst system. And then after that, yeah, we can have gamma ferrolactone, and then we can ring opening, and then finally we can have a lot of monomers. And then after that, we can combine, for example, in this case, I would like to combine with the what we call as a diisocyanate for making polyurethane. And then after that, we can a lot of things over here. The polymer structure is designed by modification of monomer structure to obtain certain product properties, of course. Yeah. For example, if we want to have, let's say, polyurethane with the flexible properties, and then we can use the structure number 1. Yeah. If we want to make something like the polyurethane based on the lactic acid, of course, and then the polymer has rigid properties, and then we can combine with the, let's say, the structure number 5. As starch. Starch is also a part of the biomass. As we know that starch is very, very interesting also. And in this case, we have starch can be divided into amylose, amylopectin, and then unfortunately, because the structure is relatively polar, and then hydrophilicity is quite low, quite high, and therefore it is hydrosoluble and then functionable, of course. Yeah, as we know that OAH functional group is very, very active in reactions, and then due to very, very hydrophilic, in this case, a lot of hydrogen bonding, and then it make free volume will be very, very, very weak, and then the product tend to transparent, rigid, and unfortunately brittle. And then we can modify it into a certain application. For example, if we want to make it something like, as we know that starch is the polar material, it's mean the hydrophilic materials, and then we can combine with the other one, for example, with polyethylene, because polyethylene is very common in our product in our life, of course. And then it's very interesting if we combine them, because the polyethylene can be combined with the starch as a composite, for example. And then, unfortunately, polyethylene is polar and non-polar, and then hydrophilicity is very, very low, and then compatibility between polyethylene and starch is very, very low, and therefore we need something like what we call as coupling agent. The coupling agent, relatively, we can use a starch also. And then in this case, we can combine, we can have, combine starch, pure starch, with the pure PA, and then we combine the coupling agent as PE grafted starch. And then finally, we can have very, very interesting materials. And then this is the thermal behavior of starch hybrid, after grafting also, of course, and then there are a lot of a positive indicator for the product. It's very interesting for packaging and automotive application. And the other one also, starch can be modified with the rubber. As we know that Indonesia is very, very Indonesia has abundant rubber plantation. Some source mentioned that Indonesia is the second largest rubber producer in the world. And therefore, it is very, very interesting if we can empowerment of these materials. And then the biggest volume for application for this material, what we call is tire. As we know that tire is very, very noise, and then we can make it not so noise, using some starch, because starch have relatively very, very high acoustic properties to absorb noise. If we mix, let's say starch with the rubber, unfortunately, the compatibility is not good, and therefore we need something like modification of the starch with the rubber as coupling agent. And then later we can mix starch with the rubber, and then with the novel coupling agent, originate synthesized by starch and rubber themselves. How to make it? How to modify them? In this, a lot of things option we can use for that. For example, in this case, I would like to present about the plasma. In the plasma, what we call GDEP, low discharge electrolysis plasma. This system will provide the radicals, and then the radical will attack the radical can attack stars or the rubber, and then finally they will have we can have unstable condition, and therefore it can be stars or the rubber, they will unstable, and therefore they can react one to each other and for making coupling agent or novel coupling agent. And then for the further study also we did some investigation regarding on that, especially for hydrophilicity, based on the some characterization such as the contact angle, and then we can have the change on that. Over here, the hydrophilicity, of the material of the natural rubber, there is a very suitable for coupling agent. And then we use it as the coupling agent for the composites, starch and rubber. And then finally we can have the time for cross-linking is very nice. The cross-linking getting very short, shorter. And then we did also to find some modeling, and then finally we can have activation energy. The activation energy after adding novel coupling agent, we can have very interesting behavior. And therefore we can have some new novel coupling agent in this case. The next is about the cellulose. Cellulose is very interesting material also. As you know, the structure of example in this case, for matrix-related cellulose can be divided into two structure arrangement, molecular arrangement of the cellulose themselves. The first one is amorphous, and the second one is the crystalline. Crystalline is it must be the free volume is quite low, or the arrangement of the molecule is quite ordered, and therefore it is very interesting for using it as a nucleating agent. In the plastic production, nucleating agent is very important thing because the cost of that is relatively high. And then if we can give some information regarding the converting or substitute of the conventional nucleating agent, use it as reinforcement agent, nucleating agent. On our research, we can have some data. We had some data regarding on that. And traits. The alkalinization can be the treatment can be chemicals, can be physical, can be biochemicals, alkalinization, etc. In this, based on the treatments, and then we can have change of the crystallinity index. After treatment, we can there are tend to enhancement of the crystallinity index. It is very good indication because the FSM morphology of the composite after breaking. And then the other one also, cellulose is a potential reinforcement agent, of course, and then nucleating agent. Also about nucleating agent. For nucleating agent, we did with the crystallization behavior of PP after adding EJOC fibers, arena, and then we use something like computation model, of course, and then finally we can have over here the time for crystallization is very important thing. With and without for figure A, we have the pure PP and PP after adding EJOC. And then over here we can have after adding EJOC, EJOC after treatment, we can have the crystallization, getting crystallization, using something like the other one also we did investigate about the dimension of the crystal, And then the next is about the lignin. Lignin is very important thing because the structure lignin is quite complex. over here, we have a lot of things of the functional group. It can be OH, it can be aromatic, yeah, etc., etc. And therefore, yeah, the prospect of the lignin for application, yeah, the potential application, it can be for smart concrete. Yeah, why? Because we can modify of the lignin into something like polyurethane for construction. Yeah, and then yeah, we can extract from the lignin the monomer for thermoset. Yeah, and therefore we can have a lot of things. Yeah, the opportunity for a modification like grafting of the polyurethane onto lignin. Yeah. And then we can have some modification between lignin and polyurethane for making, for example, in automotive, as we know that outliner, headliner, yeah, we can combine with the lignin, yeah. And then the last one is about algae, yeah. As we know that Indonesia, they are very archipelago country, and therefore, yeah, we have a coastline very long, and there, yeah. The conclusion, yeah, as we know that biomass is highly potential sources for obtaining alternative raw material of polymers, of course, and then the biomass has some potential application. It can be used for compatibilizing agent, yeah, enforcement, etc., etc. And then there are some challenging issues in the polymer in the biomass environment, yeah, to fit the application requirement. A lot of things, yeah. Therefore, yeah, we should have some synergic, yeah, work, yeah, between some stakeholder, and then yeah, to minimize activation energy in the biomass environment. I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Khalid, to present in this event. Let's do discussion. Is that okay? And I will ask about the audience in the location. Is there any question? Maybe Dr. Anik? A minute.
Thank you, Pak Satrio. Associate Professor Dr. Khalid, I have a question about how to adjust the distribution of particle like cellulose into a polymer matrix like PVA. It is easier to use nanoparticle or nanofiber. Please inform me for based on your experience. Thank you.
And how about the Dr. Khalid? It will collect one by one or just directly to answer?
It depends on the moderator.
Okay. So we'll collect and then answer by one by one.
Okay.
Okay. For the second question, it will come from the Professor Ong. He is an invited speaker from Taiwan. Maybe time is yours.
Yep. Thank you for your nice presentations, because you introduced a lot of the biomass based polymer, and you explain the pro and cons, then the challenges. So one of the challenges I see here is if we use the starch as the biomass, the weakness is the polymer will be weaker. So any solution for this? This is one question. Then the second question might be, because as your conclusion, you mentioned that what we need to do now is to minimize, one of the solution is to minimize the activation energy. So maybe any solution for minimizing the activation energy? Yep, thank you.
Okay, let's do answering. Dr. Khalid, is this okay? Or maybe any other question? Maybe it's one again. Okay, wait a moment.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Ika. I'm come from Chemical of Engineering, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta. I interest with the topic biomass, but from cellulose raw material. I wanna suggest from Dr. Khalid. As I know, if I want to extract the cellulose from the lignocellulose, we have I have several methods to extract the cellulose, but sometimes I'm worried if I choose the wrong method to extract the cellulose. I break the lignin and increase not increase, I mean decrease yield of the cellulose. Could you tell me what time to do to choose the potential method to extract with if I wanna produce biomass in laboratory, but from cellulose? Thank you in advance.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Maybe it would be better to answer, and then let's do after the question, after answer we will open the question. Is that okay, Dr. Khalid?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thank you very much for your question regarding on my presentation. And for the first, for Ibu Ani, yeah. Your case is want to try to make it cellulose, yeah, as a composite or the filler or the reinforcement agent. Is it true? Yeah, I think. And then if we have a work on the making the composite, yeah, let's say using the polyethylene something like polyhydroxide. Yeah, is it true? What I mean?
Polyphenol alcohol.
Polyphenol alcohol. Okay, yeah. Polyphenol alcohol and combined with the natural fiber, yeah, natural fiber such as cellulose. Polyphenol alcohol is basically in the something we should consider about the theory regarding on the for the making the composite, yeah, is about the compatibility between the filler and the matrix. It is very important thing. And then for your case, I think if we use polyphenol alcohol, yeah, it's relatively polar, and then natural fiber like cellulose is polar also. The compatibility should be okay, and therefore you should not, or we should not consider about the compatibilizing agent or coupling agent. And then there's something very become challenge regarding how to have a good mixture. Yeah, for having good mixture, of course, and there are two parameters, the main parameters, what we call as dispersion and distribution. For this dispersion is regarding in the size of the natural fiber, a cellulose size after mixing. Yeah, and then how to if we have something not good in the mixing, for example, there are coagulation or agglomeration between natural fiber or cellulose. The people also has the problem regarding with this, yeah, because if we use very small, like a nanocellulose, and the size very low, and then the risk of the agglomeration, it will be higher, yeah. And therefore, how to how to make it very, very good dispersion. I think we should use you should combine of some parameters of the process, yeah, like temperature, agitation rate, and then the other one also something that the people can use what we call as yeah, if we discuss about the emulsion, for example, how to make it, how to avoid the agglomeration, the people use something like surfactant. I think yeah, there are a lot of things we can use for that. Yeah, and then the second one is about distribution. For having distribution is very important thing, because if we have a good distribution and the properties of the composite become homogeneous. And then if we want to look at that, yeah, you can use FSM from FSM, or you can use STEM, for example. And then after that, you can use it as the software, yeah, what we call as it can be a G-image or something like that, and then we can have the statistic measurement on that. Yeah, we can have the percentage of the homogeneity or dispersion, and of course the dispersity. Yeah, and therefore there are some options, yeah, to resolve on your problem. Yeah, you can use something like the optimization of the process. Is it okay, or there are some questions after this answer, Bu Ani?
Thank you, Pak Khalid.
Okay. The second one is from my college, our college, yeah, the professor from Taiwan. It's about the
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
the question is about the main challenges that facing by using the biomass polymer, especially from the starch-based biomass, which will lead to the bitters of the polymer. So any solution for this? So how we going to handle these situations?
Yeah. For example, starch as one of the source of the biomass. Yeah. Basically, for natural properties of the starch is not so good. Yeah. For example, the polarity is very, very high, and then the crystallinity also very, very low. And then there are some modification, and the modification, it depends on the application we want to. For example, if we want to make it as compatibilizer, or we can mix with the other materials. Yeah, the people for based on my presentation, of course. Yeah, the people try to make the tire. Yeah, using starch. Yeah, as the absorber of the noise. Yeah. But the problem we have the compatibility, because what? Because the starch is very, very hygroscopic, and then the natural fiber and natural rubber is not, very non-hygroscopic. And then, there are two challenges regarding that. The first one, how to enhance the compatibility. The second one is if we use it, for example, starch, as it is, for example, like a nature one. And then we can have problem regarding with the hygroscopies, because it is not so good if we use it directly, and then we can have some problem. And then the modification, can be used, for example, by chemical treatment. Chemical treatment, by modification of the functional group. As we know that the starch, it has a lot of things of the hydroxyl, hydroxyl functional group, and then we can combine it, into, for example, non-polar functional group, or we can combine with the because OH you can combine with the carboxylic acid, for example, and then as any something we can use it for deactivate of the functional group activity as a hygroscopic agent. And then I think that it can be from the chemicals, or we can use also combination by physical treatment for having chemical reaction like plasma. The plasma is very, very interesting method for this case, because from the plasma we cannot, we did not use the chemicals, we just use the water, and then the water, as the medium for having the radicals, and the radical stimulated by the plasma working, and then finally we can have the new functional group, which is not active for the hygroscopic phenomenon. And then it's about the how to decrease the activation energy. As we know that we cannot work by ourselves. We need some people. For example, let's say after making after combination of natural starch with the rubber, and then we can have the tire base, the tire using the starch as the new product. We cannot use it by ourselves. We need some people from the economics for look at about the feasibility of economics. And then before going to that also, we should do what we call as technical or technological feasibility. And then after that, for this one, we cannot, let's say we have good collaboration with the economics, from the economic and engineering. And then unfortunately, we don't have the ecosystem. We should have the ecosystem, as we know that the product, they are supply and the market, of course, and then aftermarket we should consider also. And then as we know that until now, the plastic of the polymer is very, very interesting materials, and then a lot of people concerned on the waste, on their waste, and therefore we should consider aftermarket. And then I think we should open our mind. We should have a same vision for the material sustainability. For example, how to empowerment of the natural resources like biomass. And therefore we should have built the network communication with the other stakeholder. I think. That is what I could give answer for your question, Professor.
Yep. Thank you for your very detailed response. Yep.
Okay, the last one is about Ibu Ika, regarding with the extraction of cellulose. Cellulose is very, very interesting materials, and then the cellulose also can be extracted by, in general, can be divided into 3 methods, like we know. The first one is about the chemical treatment, the physical treatment, and then enzymatic, one. And of course, it depends on our purpose. Is our purpose going to the mass production? And then, as we know that if we go to the mass production product, and then we should consider about the rate of the process, and therefore, for answer that needs, we should consider about the rate of the extraction. I think the chemical and the physical treatment, it will be interesting method for answer that challenge. And then, if let's say we did we do with the chemical treatment, for example, as we know that the natural fiber itself, natural fiber is consisted some materials, hemicellulose, lignin, and cellulose also can be divided into 2. The first one is the crystalline one and amorphous one. So what we want to have after extraction, for example, if we want to extract the cellulose, what kind of cellulose we want. The people, tend to have the crystalline cellulose. How to make it? At the first, we should remove of the hemicellulose and lignin, of course. And then after that, we can have the MFC, microfibrillated cellulose. And then after that, we should cut it off. We should remove the amorphous part. For remove amorphous part is not easy, of course. Let's say if we want to remove the lignin at the hemicellulose, we can use we can use the mechanical give some the pressure, something like that, by bulbing and etc. And then we can use also the chemical treatment like alkalinization, with the low concentration. After that, we have to remove of the we have to remove the amorphous cellulose. Basically, cellulose is the polymers, as we know that, and then there are some monomers, and then between amorphous and crystalline one, they have very can be one monomer or one polymers, and therefore we should cut it. And then the polymer, of course, there are some bonding, connected one monomer to monomer. And then, as we know that the monomer with the other monomer in the cellulose, built by the ether, and therefore we should cut the ether on the amorphous one through hydrolysis. The hydrolysis can be provided by the chemical or physical also. Our group already did with the pressure, water using the pressure, and then the result is promising. I think the problem is how to control it. How to control it? It depends on the mechanism of reaction. If the hydrolysis of the cellulose itself, using radical, wow, as you know that the radical is the mechanism of reaction is not easy for control it. Or we can use the other one, like using the cationic one or ionic one. And again, it depends on our purpose. If we have, if we have the hydrolysis using the physical one, like the Presto, something like it in Bahasa, we use Presto, and then the Presto will pressure the water into the amorphous one, because amorphous, this part, it has low density, or high free volume, and therefore the ability for water go to them, this part is very high, and therefore the hydrolysis can be go to them if we compare with the crystalline part. I think a lot of things we can have. The problem is how to control it, and the control it can be referred to the condition you choose before. Okay, I think that's what I could answer on the question.
Okay, thank you in advance, Dr. Khalid. But what's your opinion about if I choose the alkaline and physic treatment to use the pre-treatment method in cellulose? But sometimes I read several journals if use the exit to pre-treatment with the lignocellulose material, it would be break the lignin and the cellulose itself. What's your opinion, doctor, about that? Is it true or not?
Okay, there are some variables on the reactions. It depends on the concentration of the alkaline system we use. The temperature and the time of the alkalinization. And after that, of course, we should refer to the kinetic one. If we use, for example, it with the high, let's say with the natrium hydroxide, the concentration, And of course, a lot of population of natrium hydroxide will attack to the natural fiber. And then there are some reaction, of course, and then it can be what you mentioned before. Yeah.
Okay, thank you in advance, Dr. Khalid.
Okay. Is that enough?
Enough.
I think it's not enough.
Yes.
I know.
Yes, we have run the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, seriously, is it enough? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I want more.
Just one question. Is the last?
No, I think I have another person in here to ask the question.
Okay.
Maybe yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question and answer from the Dr. Khalid. Due to the time is over, and we will give the virtual certificate, especially to Dr. Khalid. Can you show in the screen? Yeah. Here the virtual certificate for you as a appreciation from the committee, and the certificate will send to you through the email. And then please once more again give the big applause to Dr. Khalid.
Yeah, thank you very much for your appreciation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khalid, to share your presentation. And let's move. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of morning session. Is already over. Now, the moderator will return this to the Miss Galizi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Satrio Hutolaksono, for leading this morning session. And I also I would like to say thank you to all the main speakers who have given the great presentation to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the afternoon session, we will have a lunch break for about 1 hour. So please come back at 1 p.m. to re-register for the afternoon session, and we will also further proceed to the parallel session. So ladies and gentlemen, especially for those who are online on Zoom, let's go back at 1 p.m. because we still have a lot of series of agenda to have. So thank you and enjoy your break. But please, audiences in here, please stay here. Bapak Ibu yang di sini jangan kemana-mana dulu, because we will have a photo session offline with Pak Rektor, especially for the students who are attending this conference. Pak Adam, can you turn off the voice? Turn off, I mean. Okay, so teman-teman yang ada di sini, teman-teman mahasiswa, can we have a photo session? Please please move forward to the stage. Silakan maju ke depan, because all of you from Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, Universitas Pamulang, and